Preparations are well underway for next week's inauguration of Donald Trump, which will of course take place in Washington DC. The schedule's now been released. There's even a MAGA victory rally on the day before Mr Trump is sworn in, January 20, that's Monday their time. Inauguration Day, of course, is packed with a whole lot of events, including a presidential parade and 3 balls. Joining me now to discuss this and more, and a whole lot of other stories too internationally, Sky News contributor Kosha Gada, past chair of the Parliament's Foreign Affairs and Defence Committee, Michael Danby. Well, Kosha, what do you make of Inauguration 2.0 for Donald Trump?
It is going to be historic in many ways, but really 2 ways, Peter. I think the tonality of it, just given the comeback, the incredible, astonishing comeback that his story is politically, that's going to undergird the whole day's events, and you're going to see the tonality of triumphalism and victory with those rallies and so forth. But also in terms of the substance, there's reportedly, he has geared up more than 100 executive orders. His team has, ready to go. They're much more well prepared than last time. And right after his hand comes off the Bible at high noon, people are expecting to see a flurry of executive orders and the like coming through, and it'll be very interesting to analyze that in the 24 hours later.
Yeah, I think he'll be very dangerous to the left second time round. I look at his appointments, his forward program. He's a lot more deliberate. He's a lot more planned out. It's not sort of happened by accident. I mean, he is very, very deliberate in terms of the new administration. We know the foreign minister's going. I think that's unusual. We'd normally send a Deputy Prime Minister. Julie Bishop-Michael has made some comments to say, watch this space in relation to Kevin Rudd remaining as our ambassador. I think that's interesting too. And I think more broadly, Greg Sheridan's piece today in The Australian, I'll talk to him tomorrow night about this, but I mean, he has gone very, very hard against the Albanese government and their handling of foreign policy and defence and more. I mean, do you think the Prime Minister should have gone in this case, or at least Richard Marles?
Richard Marles should have gone if the Prime Minister was not able. Like Richard Marles should have gone instead of Dreyfus to Israel. It's downgrading these important events that should be made maximum opportunity of. And Trump is, you're exactly right, Peter, is more serious than people realise. They criticise him for the comments about Panama and Greenland. But what's the bottom line to all of that? What's the thread that sews all of this together? It's China. Trump is a serious person about resisting China in our part of the world. And thank heavens for the Americans, because Australia certainly isn't doing it with either our defence expenditure or our inability to say a word that's critical of the Chinese communists.
Just before we kicked off, Kosha, into the break, I played that exchange that he posted on his social media feed today, a lip reader's view of the discussion between Donald Trump and Barack Obama at the Carter funeral. Now, who's to know if it's absolutely right, but Donald Trump was there. The fact that he posted it tells me maybe it's on the money. What did you make of it all?
It's classic vintage Trump, taking a meme and putting it out there, and there's maybe a kernel of truth in it. It's also rhetorically very funny. It broke the internet. I think all of the mannerisms and who was snubbing who and who was smiling at who was far more interesting, I hate to say it, than the actual service of President Carter, and people have been talking about it since days. I think it was also interesting because it laid bare a lot of the criticisms where President Obama himself, among others, kept saying he's a threat to democracy, or, you know, this has shades of Hitler and all of that, and then it's so funny to see them amicably laughing it and yucking it up. In terms of substance, if there's any truth to it, I think international affairs is a key hot topic right now, and that's something they conversed about quite a bit in the last transition when it switched from Obama to Trump, so maybe they're just picking up on that with everything that's happening in the world right now.